Hello and welcome to Series 2 of Æducate, the podcast from Avernus Education. Each episode presents a series of interviews and discussions with various inspirational individuals who are pioneers and leaders in their field. Whether you're a student, a parent, or an education professional, welcome to the podcast. We hope it offers a valuable opportunity to learn from the best and stay informed about the most pressing issues and debates in the world of education and beyond. Connect, tune in, Æducate. Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of the Avernus Education Podcast. I'm delighted today to be speaking with Dr. Neelam Parmar. She is Director of Professional Learning and Online Education at AISL Harrow Schools. Neelam, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for chatting.
And thank you for the invite. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a very interesting time for education with all the opportunities presented by tech and digital innovation. I just wondered what areas you're most excited about in this fast evolving sphere. Really exciting topic today, all about digital education, tech, and much more. It's obviously a really interesting time for education, particularly with the opportunities that I think digital innovation kind of presents. What are the sort of areas that you're most excited in?
So with AISL groups, Mike, we are based in Southeast Asia. We have 12 schools, of which they've all sort of emerged from the Harrow UK entity in the UK. And as you know, they're deeply, entrenched in heritage with the 450 years that goes without saying. So part of our, what I say, challenge, or part of our being is really to balance the whole traditional and innovation side of things. With that in mind, we've tried a few things along the way, one being digital transformation itself across the schools. It's a huge project. We look at everything from, making sure that the school is infrastructure sound, or the fact that we've got the right devices for our students, but then we want to push it that bit further and look at data, for instance, and how we can use that data to make informed decisions. There's a lot of data in our schools, and now as we integrate more technology, that data can come into what we call a data lake. And then we can start to ask really interesting questions based on what we have to find and reveal some new insights and trends. And so I think that's one of the things that's quite exciting, the use of data, how are we going to use it, the power of data, what do we need to do to bring out that, to that it works in our environment. And then I think the other bit that's quite exciting is our STEAM innovation environments. So just recently, as of last week, we ran our very first UCL STEAM collaboration. We run programs for our staff, and it's our first STEAM leadership adventure. And we had all our schools come together. We understood what it means to be a STEAM leader, what that looks like in curriculum, what that could potentially look like in practice. And I have to say, our school, our Harrow Hong Kong school, very shortly after that, delivered a Hong Kong STEAM conference of their own based on some of the new ideas they've got, and they're kind of collaborating with the wider community. So I'd say that model we would love to replicate across all our schools, and we've begun to. So Harrow Hong Kong, has started working with Shenzhen, working with Bangkok, just to make sure that those schools who have a center, we can start capitalizing on the facilities and the thinking and the curriculum planning, and then share good practice across the group.
Yeah, it's definitely very exciting, and things are obviously moving successfully forward. And I believe congratulations are in order that Harrow recently won a Digital for Education award in Hong Kong, which sounds fantastic. I don't know whether you can tell us a little bit more about that. I believe an aspect of it was using digital innovation labs. Is that right?
That's exactly correct, and thank you for that. It came as a surprise to a lot of us, actually, because I think if you've looked into the Digital Education Award in Hong Kong, there's a lot of commercial companies, and I believe there's been some other groups. So it's interesting to see that there are eyes turned to education as well. We have digital. It started off with digital innovation labs. So prior to STEAM centers in Hong Kong and some of our other schools, we needed to trial and error a bit and see where we're going to go with this. And in innovation labs, we had everything from trialing VR and AR sort of technology, looking at microbits, coding, programming, Vex Robotics, working with Tencent, working with DJI. I am giving you a lot of names and partner names purely because that's our model. We partner with people who are willing to contribute into the education space and then support with us and then pilot, and we grow together. So this is basically what I would say would be our digital innovation labs, a real safe space where students can sort of be curious, they can explore things, they can poke at it, they can try to understand how things work, looking at drone technology and really turn it inside out. We want to give them a space where they can extend their learning without the whole worry of failing, if that makes sense. It's all about applied learning and learning through problem solving.
No, definitely. And I think there must be so many opportunities presented by some of the things you mentioned. I guess in certain areas there are a few concerns about AI and how we can safely integrate technology, particularly with education. So presumably it's a sort of bit of a balancing act between those opportunities, but also some threats. Did you see it in that way, or is it actually, how do you navigate those potential challenges on an organizational wide level, I suppose?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got to be skeptical across the board, whether it's in a local context or even across the board with all the schools. We need to be skeptical about the kind of technologies we have. They all sound like really great ideas. But if it's not relevant, if it's not contextual, if we're not really bringing learning outcomes into the wider space, then we're sort of missing a trick. And it might not be, that technology might not be ready for education at that point. So I think particularly with AI, we know that it's not always factual. We don't necessarily get the right information. There's a lot of, you've got to be careful about the conscious bias that exists within it. And then that security aspect side of things. So we are slowly treading water. I'd like to say that we're not holding anybody back. We're just making them aware of all the issues and the challenges that come with it. And then with awareness and open eyes, we walk into it slowly with our students. And our students know we know too. So I think that's quite important, that the teachers are always abreast of and aware of the new kinds of technologies that are coming into our space.
Yeah, definitely. And what I find really interesting, and I think you should be commended for this, is the way that AISL or AISL has managed to kind of blend all of this new innovative tech aspect of education with the holistic side of things as well, from AISL Outdoor and curriculum that really blends everything together. I mean, that can't be easy, bringing all those different strands into curriculum, but it seems like they're marrying up quite nicely from your side of things.
Absolutely. Since the difficult time we had a few years ago with the pandemic, a lot of what we did was held back, and we were really constrained to our school grounds. Now that everything's open and our students can go out, we are, if nothing else, we've learned to value our outdoor space a lot more, and particularly getting beyond our school gates, because our children can now go back into, at the beach and develop this sort of sustainable charitable skills, for instance, or they can go out and do their AISL outdoor activities. So just recently we had a ski week at one of our schools, Appy in Japan, where a whole bunch of students from our various different schools got together and had a ski session. They built things like igloo homes. They've understood the water glaciers, and we're sort of bringing in a lot of different project environments into our different campuses. So that makes it so relevant. I think we're very lucky that we have our campuses in so many different areas with so many different facilities. But just that whole concept of AISL outdoor, going out, learning that teaching learning can happen beyond the classroom. Students can learn in really relevant spaces, have actual life experiences, makes it so much more powerful.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of Æducate, the Avernus Education podcast. For those that don't know, Avernus Education provides inspiration and direction to students, helping them get ahead of the competition and maximise their chances of success. We work in collaboration with students, parents and schools to support young learners in their educational pathway, no matter what phase of the journey they are in. From university admission mentorship to subject knowledge enhancement, we provide clarity and guidance to students in order to help them discover their passion, support them in decision-making, and develop a personalised roadmap to further their ambitions and guide them to achieve their academic goals. Absolutely. Yeah, we're huge believers in education outside of the classroom, as well at our side. And some of our listeners might be able to relate to that particular element. I suppose going back to tech in the classroom, and maybe to anyone that is a little bit skeptical of how tech and digital innovation can sort of enhance learning, or even maybe the experiences of staff. You must have seen examples where staff, students have experienced really meaningful benefits from AI and tech, whether that's enhancing of learning or management of workload. Are these tangible things that you can identify and celebrate?
I think so. I think everyone can celebrate, not just our staff. I think you and I can celebrate the power of ChatGPT in reducing teacher workload, people workload is massive. So what would have normally taken us 3 hours to do, for instance, could potentially take us, 20 to 30 minutes. So we have saved a significant amount of time and worry. I think there are some bits that we really have to worry about. Of course, so students can get their answers off their questions, but what we're trying to teach them is don't necessarily depend on AI itself. You still need to work alongside with it and come up with your own understanding. When it comes to revision, for instance, we've encouraged our students to try different methodologies with AI. So so have that conversation where you're debating with AI based on a particular topic area, or input an essay paper that the student's written and see where they can get better and how they can improve their results. And that's just one concept of what we're trying to do with AI. But if you look at it from a digital, wider perspective of digital innovation, we have a digital literacy curriculum in place that we've written up for our schools group. And within that, we've taken what we have as a traditional computing ICT lesson plan, but upskilled it so that our students and teachers are working with technologies that are quite relevant to today. For instance, within the lower primary and upper primary, we start beginning conversations of cybersecurity and cyber awareness, and then how to spot them. So with the older children, for instance, we look at, and this is not new, but we will look at things like robotics and VEX again, and we bring them into these competition areas. So it's sort of making sure that we're upskilling the whole time, and that we're not staying with a really rigid sort of curriculum, because that's what we're meant to do. But we listen to the teachers, we listen to the parents, we see where the skill sets are going, and then we bring it in together so it's more impactful.
Definitely, and fast moving as well. And I don't know whether you can give much away here, but there must be some really exciting plans at your end of where the group is taking this from, say, the student experience to parent education and more. I don't know if you can give us a little taster of what's to come in the next few months and years from your side.
Sure. We have developed an AISL Academy, which is an online learning platform for our communities. Initially, of course, it started off just for our schools, where we were providing induction programs, where we've developed continuous professional development for our teachers, particularly in key areas that are really required in our schools. We're bilingual schools based in mainland China and Southeast Asia. So a lot of our content is focused around areas such as digital learning or pedagogy and innovation, leadership, early years. And again, we have curriculum to support all of that. So in conversations with specialists, with experts, with guidance, in panel discussions, we've put together a whole bunch of course materials, firstly for our staff, but now we see it's really relevant to the wider community. So we have this online learning platform that we're launching in April to our parents. We've initially already launched the educator side of things. Our parents are coming out in April. And again, we're looking to build this homeschool partnership so that whatever we do in school, the parents are aware of it at home and they can support their students. We've also found that parents have so many questions that are unanswered, and sometimes there's just not enough time to get into it. So we've also developed courses based on that for parents. It's really quite exciting, and it's coming out in April, and we'd love for everyone to be there. Following that, we'll have something on students as well.
Brilliant. Watch this space, and April is coming up fast. Lastly, Neelam, if I can just put the question to you of if there is a young learner listening to this, a student who is starting their educational journey, is there anything they can be doing on an individual level to enhance their digital literacy or their skill set when it comes to AI?
That's so interesting. That's such an excellent question, actually. I would say to every student, just be really curious and don't stop at what you know. I mean, think about any of your questions and see how you can apply it in different contexts and across different industries. We have scholarship programs for our students who are more than welcome to join, outside students are welcome to join and learn more. But I would always say engage in conversations, and of course, I don't have to tell this to new students. Explore technologies. It's the world you're growing up in. Be aware of the pitfalls, be aware of the challenges, and don't think just because we have AI, they'll make the decisions for us, because at the end of the day, their ethical decisions are our decisions. We're the ones programming it into them. So we just need to be alert, be savvy, and and pay back, give contribution back into the world at some point.
It's been great chatting today, Neelam. Thanks so much for talking with Avernus Education.
Thank you very much.